I'm gonna show you how to hire your first assistant as a real estate agent. I'm telling you, most agents spend way too much time, way too much money, and they waste resources on the wrong This will help you grow your business if you just listen to it for like 5 minutes. I promise. First, a lot of agents see an assistant as a cost and not a revenue maker. The more time that you spend with lead generating, with client consultations and on appointments, the more money you and your business will make. And so this is not a cost. This is a revenue driver because it will create more business than it costs you. Even if you hire a virtual assistant for 5, 10, 15 bucks an hour, it will save you and make you so much more money than the cost of having it. So I'm gonna walk you through what your assistant should actually be doing for you on a daily basis, and then I'll give you a guide that breaks it down even more. I find that most agents, they make the mistake of giving their assistant a very vague job description. They say things like help with admin. It's not enough structure to lead to the results that you want. And so I'm gonna show you what a really good assistant does. And you can even send them this video so they can figure it out and copy it and implement it on your behalf. Give them the authority to add things and make it better. Give them a room to grow in their role. The first thing is they should be doing what I call daily money tasks. They gotta be doing things that make money for the business. If they're not making money and you're not making money, then nobody's making money. And then you can't hire people, you can't pay people, that's no bueno. So here's what it looks like. They can prepare your daily lead list. This is, hey, here's the 10 people I need to call, Devin. Here's the printout. I used to have my team do this daily. They could respond to hot leads in your CRMs. This is emails, this is text, this is scheduling phone calls. They can text cold leads on your behalf. Just give them the script. Have them do it in your follow-up box in your CRM. Every day they go through and they can plug in and set up this. They can call unresponsive leads. If people aren't answering, they can just say, hey, this is Devin. I'm Cliff's assistant. He asked me to get a hold of you and just see if you had any plans around real estate. Do you have time to set up a call with him? They can confirm your appointments the day of. They can send them invitations to meet with you. They can audit your pipeline so they can go into your CRM every day and make sure everybody has the correct name, phone number, their schedule, they have a task. They can run this for you. This is their job. All of these activities will drive massive amounts of sales in your business. The next thing they can do is listing preparation tasks. So now what we're gonna have them do is buy back your time so you can focus on other stuff. They should be pulling CMA data. They should be filling out your seller package. They should be installing lockboxes, signs, booking the photographer, attending the photo shoot to make sure the quality is set up. You don't have to be at every photo shoot. You don't have to be at every inspection. They can prepare these mailers and these flyers. They can promote the listing on your Facebook. They can follow up with your open house visitors. They can send the seller updates on your behalf. They can draft the paperwork for their pricing and recommendations. So I would show up to the office in my schedule. I'd show up from 7 to 8, I'd prep, I'd get ready, I'd meet with my assistant, I'd do all kinds of things. 8 to noon, I'd make phone calls, and then my assistant would prep and I would have 3, 4, 5 folders, and she'd be like, here are your showings for the day, here's your listing appointments, here's the comps, here's the properties. Each person has already confirmed. Then I would just go on my appointments. And that was the system, because your job is to shake hands, kiss babies, and sign contracts. And the more contracts you sign, the more sales you do. And the more sales you do, the more money you make, and the more money you make, the more people you can pay to do the things that you aren't even as good at. And the reason I have learned to get good at these things is because coming into this business, I was not a very organized person. But over time, I've had to learn it and I've had to build these skills. But in the beginning, I didn't have any of that. So I would pay my transaction coordinator on a deal. I'd be like, hey, if this closes, I'll give you 500 bucks. Make sure everything's set up properly. And if it doesn't close, they don't get paid and they know it. And if it does, they do get paid extra and they know that too. You can have them do buyer side support so they can be booking all of your showings. I would have my assistant go through. Every showing would be in a packet, set up in a certain way, and I would have the MLS sheet on top. It would have the monthly breakdown cost of that property for me, and then it would have a second page which would have all the lockbox and parking instructions that I could get when I show up, so I had everything available. So I'd give one set to the client, and then my set would have the lockbox instructions. And so my assistant would ask them, like, where is the lockbox? Anything I should be a note? No. Is it easy to open? And then she would put on the page. By the time I showed up, I knew exactly where to park. I knew where the lockbox was. I knew how to get in. I knew how to find the unit in the complex because it was kind of confusing. And I knew everything about the property. I knew why the sellers were selling. I knew what price offer they had. I knew all of this going in. So by the time the client asks me, I have it already. All they think is, wow, Devin seems to know everything. That's amazing. But really, like, my assistant just prepped it that morning. It wasn't a big deal, but think of how much time that could save you. So now I went from, let's say I was doing 5, 6, 8 appointments a week. Well, now what normally would take me 20, 30 hours takes me like 12 to 15 because everything is set up for me. And then you can do twice as many appointments in the same amount of time, which means you can do twice as many sales. That's why the year I did 47 million in volume, everything was cranking on all cylinders. I didn't have to think twice about it. What's really cool too is the longer your team members do their role, the better they get. As long as you brought on good people, they will get better at their job. How cool is that? And then finally, just have them take over admin. Have them check your email, have them set up your calendar, have them remind everybody of your calendar events, have them reschedule no-shows, have them coordinate with vendors, reply to partners. Your emails could be responded to within 20 minutes. So my email, Kate goes through it every single day, and there's a Devin to review. So if she doesn't know what to do, everything in there, this is what I have to look at. But then there's the SOPs for how she manages things. For example, if people respond and they want me to donate to their charity, she has a very clear response that's already set out. So I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to feel bad because people ask for stuff all the time. If there's a requested time, an ROT, she knows how to set that up. If somebody was like, hey, I really need to meet with Devin, blah, 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 she goes through and depending on where they fit, she can either say yes, no, or schedule them out for later. She goes through all of this. And so what I find is sometimes things that would take me too long, like, you know how you make a decision, you're like, all right, we're doing this, but then you don't want to pay for it. You're like, but maybe I'll wait a little bit longer before I buy this thing. Well, your team members don't have that same internal pain on a decision. They just follow what's already decisions have been made. And so sometimes it speeds up the process because it's just already being done. And I call all of these like these little admin things, I call them invisible tasks because they eat up your entire day, but there's nothing to show for it. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to hire the right person for this role. So what I do with every job description now is I will write the job description and use ChatGPT to write like a really nice, sexy job description. Because remember, this is an advertisement for a person for why they're going to want to work with you. If you can't write a good ad, if it's like boring corporate speak, most people aren't going to look at it. You want to write something that's like fun, engaging, that gets the people you want to work with. At least that's my style. So once you write a really good ad, at the bottom of the ad, you're going to tell them, here's how to apply. Step 1, apply through Indeed. Step 2, send me an email with your resume and a video of why you would be a good fit for the job. And guess what? So we recently posted a job with 48 people that applied. Of those 48, 2 of them had read the entire job ad and sent the email with the resume and the video. And so I can immediately tell who is willing to read and follow the system, because we want people that are like, they are A players. They read the stuff they're sent. They pay attention to the details. And then they're willing to get dressed up, put themselves on video, educate to the camera, speak eloquently. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're self-selecting the people out that have already proved that they can't read the full job ad. Then a couple things I look for is speed. So basically, we are a lead to them. How quickly do they get back to me? How quickly do they apply? When I respond, does it take them a full day to get back to me? Or do they respond immediately? If I tell them I'm gonna send them something and I don't send it, do they follow up on that? If I teach them something in the interview, are they immediately down to start implementing it in the interview? So for example, I did an interview years ago with one of our amazing team members. His name is Michael. And in the interview, I told Michael that I had just finished a book called Traction, that we were implementing it in the company. On the second interview, when Michael came back for the second round, I was asked him about the book again, and he goes, oh, I actually read it in between our meetings. This is a big book. This is like a 250-page book. I was shocked because I was like, you read the entire book in the last week? He's like, yeah, you told me it was important to the business. And I was like, Michael, you haven't even got the job yet and you're willing to do that type of work? Immediately, like, yes, I want to work with you. And so those A players, you'll start to notice those cues. If you teach them something in the interview, do they immediately decide to implement it? Or does it just kind of get swept under the rug? Finally, in onboarding, what I like to do is give people a 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plan. And it's very clear about these are the expectations I expect in 30, what I expect in 60, what I expect in 90. What you want to do is you want to show them how to win. I used to not be as clear about my expectations or the vision or what we were working on or how I want things done. And so it was kind of like a mystery to the team members in all my companies. But now I'm getting better at saying, okay, like, this is what success looks like. This is not what success doesn't look like. And recently, this is like yesterday, I had somebody who I knew within the first 90 days that they had missed all 3 months of their checklist of things they were supposed to get done. They had a 30, a 60, and a 90-day plan, and they got blown past and they never got accomplished. And I was not a good enough leader to recognize those issues. And even though I addressed them, I never held those standards. So I said, you have to get this done. But then when they weren't, I didn't hold anyone to it. And what I've learned now is when you set these expectations, you got to be clear about it. Like, I need these things done. If you're struggling on something, like, ask me for help. I want to see you win. And that is another thing I see a lot of leaders don't do is they almost like sometimes root against their team, like other agents I've interviewed about their team. And it's like, you should want to see them do well because that means success for you too. And you want to give them the tools to do so. So I used to ask my team to build systems and I had never shown them how to build a system, what I expected. We've never done a practice system. We've never done any of this. And so I realized I was asking for something and not giving them the tools to build it. It's like hiring a carpenter to build a house, but you don't give him a hammer, you don't give him nails, you don't give him anything. And he's just like, what am I supposed to do here? You gotta give your team the skills to do the things you want. Final bonus tip is big question. How do you pay them? Like, how do you know how much? So 2 things. First, decide if they're a virtual assistant or if they're in person. Those are 2 very big things. So if they're virtual, what I highly recommend is you go to upwork.com, that's what we use, and you post the ad and you're gonna get a bunch of different applications. And they're actually going to tell you what their rate is. It's gonna range anywhere from $6 or $7 an hour up to $20 to $30 an hour. And then you can interview the ones you like, you can select the people you want, and then you can make them a job offer and they will tell you immediately what they pay. Secondarily, if you're hiring somebody in person, the easiest way to determine how much to pay is to look at competitive jobs. So go to either Indeed or Wise Hire and find out what similar jobs, like if they're in an admin role, what do admin roles pay? Is it in your state? Is it $12? Is it $15? Is it $20? Is it $30 an hour? And just know the more experience they have, the more they're gonna wanna get paid. And so find someone that has an experience level that you're satisfied with that also meets your budget. Keep in mind what the role is too. For example, if you're hiring a principal broker, you need a very different salary and pay package than somebody who's a first-time administrative assistant. So my best bet to determine what to pay is just look at what the market pays for similar roles and copy those first. Typically, it's nice to pay a base and then just give periodic bonuses based on performance or give people ways to win in other ways, even if it's small, just so that way there's extra incentive to do a good job. So to wrap this up, I get it. Putting your trust on someone else to take over your responsibilities, that's difficult. It's scary, but it's the only thing that's gonna let you grow and allow them to grow in their role too. So I hope this helps. If you like this video or want something similar, leave a comment. And if you don't mind, please subscribe. Click the red button. Aloha.